Hello. Today my presentation is about the analysis of comparative science by Adán José Esquivel Jr. Objectivity and subjectivity. Objectivity is the understanding of objects and the relationship to other objects within an aggregate of knowing and believing. Subjectivity is a component to the relationship of objects that are examined based on forensic scientists' personal experience, knowledge, and judgment between the two objects. Comparing objectivity and subjectivity. After the forensic scientist conducts the initial observation and the evaluation on the relationship of objects, subjectivity then becomes involved after the fact. With both objectivity and subjectivity working together in forensic science, with the objectivity providing a scientific foundation, measurability, and repeatable methods, subjectivity is the use of professional experience for interpretation where evidence isn't clear. Impact of objectivity and subjectivity to the forensic scientist's judgment. The impact of objectivity and subjectivity on a forensic comparative scientist is whether the comparative measurements align with the objective dimensions of these objects. In the criminal justice system, the court seeks the understanding and judgment of an object's relationship to one another from a forensic scientist's understanding. Reason being is because the judge, attorneys, and jury do not understand the objective relationship between two objects until the forensic scientist provides the knowledge and expert opinion. Examples of the type of logic used for comparing evidence. Deduction logic is initially general and ends with the particular, inferring that the conclusion is certain as long as the premises of the case and the rule of uniqueness and persistency are valid by either the two images agreeing or disagreeing. Induction logic involves the uncertain or probabilistic after the fact if the premises of the case and results are true. Abduction logic is the use of fundamental principles, laws, or rules of sources that are unique and persistent in order to determine whether they agree or disagree with the details of similarities or differences between two images and if they are from the same source. How form, pattern, and feature persistence contribute to unique characteristics. Form is a similar general shape that many objects have in common that allows for grouping or classification rules to be implemented. Patterns are the particular structures that consist of a shape within each object that has a form. Persistency of features states that no natural or unnatural pattern is permanent, and patterns can be persistent or durable but cannot be permanent. Similarities and differences of natural patterns and unnatural repeatable patterns. Unique natural patterns on objects are unique from the moment they are formed, but they can still be grouped together under specified parameters. Examples: fingerprints. In nature, there is no two objects that are perfectly the same patterns or replicated again in nature. For unnatural repeatable patterns, repeatable manufactured patterns on objects can also be grouped together under specified parameters. Examples would be shoe, tire tread patterns, and tool marks. Beneath the surface of a visible repeatable features, the object can be worn down, cut, and broken into different surface features, with making them with imperfections and unique over time rather from when they are manufactured. How an expert's judgment can influence the support of two marks originate from the same source. Judgment is the evaluation or design based on prior experience and understandings by the forensic examiner. The forensic examiner's role is to cautiously observe, compare, and interpret the details that are found within two different marks to determine whether the features are sufficient to assume the possibility of the same origin. The conclusion is made by the forensic examiner, so when the expert's measurements and judgments are applied to the objective relationship between the two objects, they are not completely independent of each other. Ranges of levels of details in images. First level of details is pointing out specific patterns of features of a poor quality image when comparing. The clarity is not enough to differentiate features or make accurate measurements such as general sizes, shapes, and dimensions. Example would be enough to depict a one-story house to a two-story house, but unable to determine a specific two-story house among many other two-story houses. Range of levels of details in images. Second level of details allows for critical comparative measurements of patterns within the better quality image, enough to identify specific sequences and configurations of patterns like dimensions, paths, lengths, widths, and position of details that are measurable. Please review the images below. Ranges of levels of details in images. Third level of details describes in good quality images that is not easily visible details of specific sequences and configurations of patterns of features that depict the edges, textures, contours, and anomalies along the paths or boundaries of the second level of details of patterns. As seen in the example on the right side of the PowerPoint is the terms of quality, which rises within the third level of details and the quantity still consisting the same. These are my references. Thank you for your time and have a great, blessed day.